Here,
Imagine
a
standing in a
small
narrow
force
mountain pass.
stood against
Behind
an
you
empire.
lies your homeland.
Bound by
Ahead of
law,
you stands the
they
largest
prepared to
army the
die.
ancient world has ever seen. Its numbers seem endless. Thousands upon thousands of soldiers stretch across the horizon. Archers, spearmen, cavalry, elite guards, warriors from every corner of a vast empire. Their king believes no force on earth can stop him. His name is Xerxes, the ruler of the mighty Persian Empire. His ambition is simple: conquer Greece, destroy every city that resists, and add another land to the greatest empire of the age. Standing in his way is a small alliance of Greek warriors. At their head is a king unlike any other. A man
Spartans!
raised from childhood to
Hold
believe
the
that
line
courage
and
matters
fix
more
your
than life
spears!
itself. His name is Leonidas, king of Sparta. He commands only a few thousand Greek soldiers. Among them are just 300 Spartan warriors. They know they cannot win. They know they will almost certainly die. Yet they refuse to retreat. For 3 unforgettable days, they will hold back an empire. Their sacrifice will echo through history for more than 2,000 years. This is the story of the last stand of the 300. Long before the battle began, the Persian Empire had become the greatest superpower on earth. Stretching from the deserts of Egypt to the mountains of India, it ruled millions of people speaking dozens of languages. Its wealth was unmatched. Its armies seemed unstoppable. No kingdom appeared strong enough to challenge it. But years earlier, Persia had suffered an unexpected humiliation. In 490 BC, King Darius I invaded Greece. He expected a quick victory. Instead, his army was defeated by the Athenians at the Battle of Marathon. The defeat shocked the empire. Darius immediately began preparing another invasion. Before he could launch it, he died. His son, Xerxes I, inherited not only the throne but also his father's unfinished mission. Xerxes was determined to erase the memory of Marathon forever. For years, he prepared one of the largest military expeditions in history. Engineers constructed enormous bridges across the Hellespont so the army could march from Asia into Europe. Roads were repaired, food depots were established across hundreds of kilometers. Warships gathered along the coast. Soldiers came from every province of the empire: Persians, Medes, Egyptians, Babylonians, Phoenicians, Assyrians, Scythians, and many more. Ancient historians claim the army numbered in the millions. Modern historians believe it was probably between 100,000 and 300,000 soldiers. Even at the lower estimate, it was one of the largest armies the ancient world had ever seen. News of the invasion spread quickly across Greece. Many city-states realized that if they continued fighting among themselves, they would all fall one by one. For one of the few times in Greek history, old rivals united. Athens prepared its powerful navy. Sparta agreed to lead the defense on land. The Greeks knew they could never defeat the Persians in an open field. Their only hope was to force the enemy into terrain where numbers meant little.
A small force
They chose a
stood
place
against an
called
empire.
Thermopylae. Its
Bound
name
by
meant
law,
the Hot
they
Gates.
prepared to die.
It was a narrow pass between
Here,
towering
a
mountains and
small
the sea.
force stood
In some
against an
places, the
empire.
battlefield was so narrow
Bound
that
by
only
law,
a small
they
number of
prepared
soldiers
to
could
die.
fight side by side. Here, the massive Persian army would be unable to surround the defenders. It was the perfect place for heavily armed Greek hoplites. King Leonidas marched north with his personal guard of 300 Spartans. These were not ordinary soldiers. Each man had a living son, ensuring his family line would continue if he died. They were among the finest warriors in Greece. Contrary to popular belief, they did not stand alone. Several thousand soldiers from other Greek city-states joined them: Thespians, Thebans, Corinthians, Phocians, and others. Together, they prepared to defend the narrow pass. When Xerxes finally arrived, he was astonished. He expected the Greeks to flee at the sight of his army. Instead, they calmly stood their ground. According to ancient accounts, Persian scouts reported something unusual. Some Spartan warriors were calmly combing their hair. To the Persians, this made no sense. To the Spartans, it was a sacred ritual performed before battle. They expected death, and they intended to meet it with dignity. For 4 days, Xerxes waited. He believed fear would drive the Greeks away. It never happened. Finally, he lost patience. The attack began. Wave after wave of Persian infantry charged into the narrow pass. The Greeks locked their shields together. Their long spears formed an impenetrable wall. Every Persian assault was thrown back. The narrow battlefield prevented the Persians from using their overwhelming numbers. The disciplined Greek phalanx proved almost impossible to break, bodies piled higher with every attack. The Persians suffered terrible losses. Xerxes became furious. He ordered his elite guard into battle, the Immortals, 10,000 of the empire's finest soldiers. Surely they would succeed where others had failed. They did not. The Spartans and their allies held firm. The Immortals were forced back with heavy casualties. For 2 full days, the greatest army on Earth failed to break a handful of determined defenders. But while the Greeks fought bravely at the front, danger approached from behind. A local man named Ephialtes betrayed his country. He revealed a hidden mountain path leading around the Greek position. Xerxes immediately sent part of his army through the pass. Before long, Leonidas received devastating news. The Persians were behind them. The Greeks had been surrounded. Most commanders would have ordered a retreat. Leonidas chose another path. He dismissed the majority of the Greek army, ordering them to return home and continue the fight. He remained behind with his 300 Spartans. The 700 Thespians refused to leave. A smaller force of Thebans also stayed. Together, they prepared for their final stand. At dawn, the Persians attacked from both directions. The fighting became desperate. Spears shattered, swords broke. When their weapons were destroyed, the Greeks fought with daggers. When even those were gone, they fought with their bare hands. King Leonidas fell during the battle. His body became the center of fierce fighting as the Spartans repeatedly charged forward to recover their fallen king. Eventually, the surviving defenders withdrew to a small hill. There, surrounded on every side, they fought until the very end. Persian arrows darkened the sky. One by one, the defenders fell. By sunset, nearly every Spartan was dead. So were the Thespians who had chosen to stand beside them. Thermopylae ended in a Persian victory, but it was a victory that came at an enormous cost. The courage of Leonidas and his companions inspired all of Greece. Their sacrifice bought precious time. The Greek city-states strengthened their defenses. Only weeks later, the Greek navy defeated Xerxes at the Battle of Salamis. The following year, the Persian army suffered another crushing defeat at Plataea. The invasion collapsed. Xerxes abandoned his dream of conquering Greece. The stand at Thermopylae became one of history's greatest symbols of courage. It proved that discipline could overcome numbers, that unity could challenge overwhelming power, and that the willingness to sacrifice everything for a greater cause could inspire generations yet unborn. More than 2,000 years have passed since those 3 days in the narrow pass.
Spartans,
Empires have risen and fallen.
and fix your
Kingdoms
spears.
have disappeared. But the story of Leonidas and the 300 lives on.
Ready
They did
your
not fight
shields.
because they believed they would survive. They fought because they believed
retreat.
that some things were worth dying for. Their
Here,
last stand
at the
became
gates
more
of
than a
fire,
battle. It became a legend
300 stood
that
against an
continues
empire.
to inspire the world to this day.